Ladies and gentlemen, it is 8 o'clock-ish on a Friday night. You know what that means. It's time to get some sack tapping going, but before we tap sacks, we give you some big fucking titties. Which direction are they in? I can never tell because I have my notes here. I don't have the monitor. Are they over here? At some point, when I jump from side to side, my head winds up behind a set of big-ass titties. Of course, I would prefer that my head were buried in big-ass titties, but it is not the time for that. It is simply the time to remind you, dear viewer, listener, whoever the fuck you are. I had some guy who's listening to the audio of the podcast saying he couldn't find the tits. That's because tits are visual. They're not something you hear. You can hear sounds coming from them if someone was like slapping a cock through them or sucking on them or slapping them around, of course. But tits are mainly a visual medium. The tits are on screen. To see that, you have to check out the YouTube channel. It's YouTube, Mike Montone. You could watch the live stream on Facebook.com/The Savage Crew. Of course, I'm putting all sorts of content out on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter at Mike Montone. Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler. I have a website set up where I do some blogging. I've had to back off on the blogging of late because I'm working on a couple other things on the side that have eaten up that time. But all of my content is available through the website, meatheadmedia.com. And the podcast is all over the goddamn place. TheSavageCrew.libsyn, LIBSYN.com. And then all over Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast. I've submitted this RSS feed to everywhere that I could possibly fathom a podcast landing. It's on Russian platforms, India. We were doing great numbers in India for a while. I don't know why that was. The Indians loved us. It does appear to have fallen out of favor with them. It must have been something I said. But the point is, you can find this shit, the Savage Sacktap, and its associated content all over the goddamn place. And if you really can't find it, just Google Savage Sacktap and Mike Montone, and it's all bound to come up, all right? Okay? Is it that simple? Now, gays, enjoy the big tits that I have brought you. Patriotic big tits with the stars and stripes, unfortunately covering the nipples because we don't want to get kicked off of Facebook and YouTube. But hey, look, cleavage is cleavage, baby. Enjoy it. I'm going to, we're just about to get ready. Here we go. Have you had enough of your arch rival's bullshit? Then kick her ass inside of a Little Caesars. And once you've snacked on some tasty pizza, do yourself a good deed and share some flaming hot Cheetos with a caged monkey. It's a fine way to spend your free time, but if you can't do that, then kick off your Memorial Day weekend with a fresh episode of the Savage Sacktap. It starts right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sacktap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sacktap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Well, it'll start as soon as I can get my notes up. How about that? Yes, I am Mike Montone. This is the Savage Sacktap. And before I introduce, I have possibly two guests joining me tonight, both of whom you are familiar with, and I'm sure it's probably not too much of a stretch for you to figure out who. Before we get to that in the meat of the episode, I do want to just take a moment. It's Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day weekend. I have these patriotic tits up here. I was one of the troops. Troops love tits. But there is in the veteran community, and I've found particularly the immediate post 9/11 veteran community, a bit of, and it's been fading the past few years. I think we've been much better about kind of taking care of our mental health. We realized we came home a little bit fucked up. There was 2010, 2011, those few years when Iraq and Afghanistan were just kind of cooling down, and then we stayed in Afghanistan for another 10 for some fucking reason. There felt like there was a lot of resentment from the veterans towards civilians for the act of enjoying a 3-day weekend, a 72, as we refer to it in the military. and they would post these memes on Facebook and Instagram, and it was always like, fuck your barbecue, people died so you could eat a burger, suck my dick, you should be crying in front of a grave at Arlington for 24 hours on Memorial Day. Guys, it's not the way to do it. Take a deep breath. Memorial Day is, of course, it's very important to remember the sacrifices of those who didn't come home and those who lost the battle after returning home. And we should take time for that. I would encourage everyone, if you see there's a veteran, usually you see the old guys with the baseball caps, they'll be outside the grocery store, the liquor store. So of course, you got a little cash, hand them, put some in the jar, have a chat with them. They're fucking old guys. They'll talk your ear off for an hour about, killing some guy with a knife in Korea. It'll be great. You'll get a great story out of it. Do that, of course. And if there's a veteran or someone who was in your life who didn't make it back, someone you went to high school with, a family member, whatever, of course, take time to honor their sacrifice. But understand that part of honoring that sacrifice means living a life, doing the things that they would have done if they were here. Doing the things that you are able to do and that civilians are able to do because of the sacrifice that they made. So telling someone to go fuck themselves because they want to eat a cheeseburger and hang out on the beach on a beautiful May weekend is not constructive to a good image for us as veterans, and it's not good for your own well-being. So, yeah, go out and enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend. It's time off from work. It's time for you to chill out after this ridiculous bullshit year we've had. Just fucking enjoy it. There's no good reason for us as veterans to be fucking dicks to civilians because they do not fully grasp your particular view of how Memorial Day should be celebrated. So if you are having a hard time, of course, if you are having a hard time with something, reach out to one of your veteran buddies to blow off steam. Again, there's just no reason to take it out on civilians who don't fucking know better. It has nothing to do with them. They are enjoying the freedom that was sacrificed for, which is why we have Memorial Day. So please ease up on them and enjoy it yourselves. If you served, if you sacrificed, it's a day off to enjoy the awesome freedoms that come with being an American. Well, at least when your government isn't going out of the way to suppress them and make you stay inside for a fucking year, trying to take away your guns or all the other fucked up stuff. But eat the fucking cheeseburger and enjoy the big tits is what I'm saying. And now I will remove these tits from the screen to make way for our first of perhaps two guests. And just a moment. The tit's now gone. Let's get a new banner going. There it is. Welcome to Sacktap Live. It is what it says. And welcome to Sacktap Live is what I will say to my sister Jackie Montone joining the show once again. You saw her last week. She's returning. It's not that any of you requested her to return. I requested her to return because she's in the house and she's moderately entertaining. And you usually seem to like her, so Jackie, welcome aboard.
Thank you. It either means that you can't get a better guest, or I have nothing better to do on a Friday night.
I think it's a combination of both. I have no ability to book anyone. Believe me, if I could,
truly have nothing better to do.
If I could track down a better get than my sister, no offense, they would be here right now.
I believe.
But yeah, welcome. Are you excited? We did broach this before. It is the White Boys Summer. Are you excited for the White Boys?
I'm excited for all of you.
Thank you.
As excited as I can be, not being someone who will benefit from it.
That's true. Yeah, the white girls don't get shit. You guys had like your own kind. You guys did the hot girl summer thing. You guys were all running around, and then it was sad girl fall. Yeah. You commandeered 2 fucking seasons, and we said.
But I was already 30 by then, and not really part of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I missed out on both.
You know who's not having a lot of fun?
Oh, who?
I don't know if you're a fan of the 80s rock band, and I guess 90s rock band, still touring, Megadeth.
Not my go-to on Spotify.
Not a big Megadeth listener.
Not particularly. You seem surprised.
I'm stunned. You look like the target demo for every album that Megadeth puts out. Well,
should I be insulted or flattered?
No, I think people enjoy Megadeth. I mean, it's not. I listen to like house music, so it's not really my.
I mean, I like 80s, you said? 80s rock?
Yeah, they're a little harder. I know you're into like the Journey and like
Yeah,
Bon
yeah, a
Jovi
little
and
bit
stuff. Yeah,
softer
they're a
than
little
that.
they're a little more aggressive. Megadeth has parted ways with founding bassist Dave Ellefson.
Oh.
Not to be confused with our old neighbor, Dave Elfrey.
All right.
And
to be very, very clear, two different people?
And we should make that clear because the conditions under which Mr. Ellefson was let go from the band are not exactly flattering.
Okay.
The thrash metal legends shared the news on social media on Monday in a statement credited to singer Dave Mustaine. He's a legend of the music game. Is Dave Mustaine.
Dave Mustaine.
Yeah. We are informing our fans that Dave Ellefson is no longer playing with Megadeth and that we are officially parting ways with him, he wrote. We did not take this decision lightly. The news arrives in the wake of Ellefson, who lives in Scottsdale, facing accusations of grooming an underage girl through videos and online messages.
That's not good for the name.
That is really not. And that is why we did want to make a distinction between Dave Ellefson, formerly of Megadeth, and our neighbor Dave Elfring, who's just a nice guy.
Very nice guy.
Yeah, we didn't want to drag him into this.
Let's
and we
not do
thought,
that.
and I thought these viewers
You
who...
sort of dragged him into
We
it. by
did
bringing
actually
up a
drag
name
it.
They
Yeah,
probably
that's
have
true.
Never
They've
heard
never
of.
heard it before. Now they're Googling him.
Yeah,
and they're like,
Googling both.
and now they're looking at it and they're like, I don't know, maybe he did try to groom girls. Maybe they're both. Maybe this is a big Dave E activity.
Yeah.
But what did strike me about this was that it's such a big 180, I feel like, for the 80s hair band community. Mm-hmm. Like, you're at least generally familiar with the manner in which these people behaved.
Yeah, they weren't exactly chivalrous towards women.
Yeah, that's true, which is funny because they were obsessed with, like, the imagery of, like, knights and shit like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the songs, like, if you listen to, like, Dio is all about fucking dragons and demons and stuff like that. So you would figure that chivalry would be right there. Not the case through the 80s.
Shocking that in a show business-esque charade, they could have misled you.
Yeah, and as you really don't, you never expect the industry to behave as such. But like Motley Crue and those guys, like if you watch their documentary about Motley Crue, and of course there's the Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, which, have you seen that yet? Did you watch that?
I feel like we watched it down here at some point.
Did we?
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
They're following the bands around to like their shows as they're kind of coming up on the road. And these guys were obsessed with pussy. They would do anything to get their hands on. Like, remember, there would just be footage, like they would have overhead footage of like Ozzy or someone laying on a bed with a bunch of naked chicks and doing an interview, which you could never fucking get away with now.
For sure not.
They go fucking ballistic. There's only one music community left where it's even acceptable to do any of this shit. We'll get to that in a moment.
I almost want to guess what it is. But
Yeah, well, let that brew in your mind, and then. But Motley Crue used to literally they had a guy who was responsible for, like, the band members would just point chicks out in the audience.
Yeah,
and they would send their guy, and he would bring them backstage for.
R. Kelly did that.
Yes, he did.
Much younger.
Kells was targeting a slightly younger demo
Picked him out.
than Motley Crue. At least with Motley Crue, it appeared to be very consistent with their own age range.
All right, you gotta respect them for that.
Yeah, I don't doubt that there was an equivalent amount of urinating going on, but at least I think Motley Crue was usually doing the kind of chicks who seemed like they were interested in such a dalliance, if you will. And they were, but that was like the lifestyle back then. Like, I don't know if you see The Dirt on Netflix?
No, that I have not seen.
Okay, so it's a very sort of cartoonish portrayal of what life in Motley Crue would have been like, but it's, it reflects what goes on in their memoirs. They're aptly titled Memoirs, The Dirt, and they're like, I think they had the manager, his fiance, was like visiting the band one day while they were getting ready for a show, and the guys were, I think two of them fucked her, And then, you know, Nikki Sixx, or I don't know if it was Nikki or Tommy, had his girlfriend with him, and, you know... Tommy Lee?
I can't believe it.
Can you not believe that
I'm shocked.
Tommy Death at a Backyard Pool Party Lee,
Really?
fucking Pam Anderson on a boat, Tommy Lee,
I
might
think
have been involved
I
in
think
some
you're
sexual
misinformed,
shenanigans.
Mike. I truly think you're misinformed. But I know this is your show, so do continue.
Yeah, I will continue with my ball of lies about, by the way, one of my favorite bands ever. So when I say this about Motley Crue, I would say this comes from a place of adoration.
Yes.
But they had, I forget which member it was, either Tommy or Nikki had his girlfriend with him, and I think Vince Neil was literally fucking her in a dressing room while the other guy was off doing whatever. Mick Mars, of course, could not fuck anybody's girlfriend, because if you know your Motley Crue, you know that Mick Mars' back was in such awful shape that I don't know how Mick Mars ever would have banged anybody. Mick Mars must have been like a guy in a wheelchair who still has a functioning cock, so he just receives a bunch of blowjobs.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor Mick Mars. No, you gotta love Mick. Mick was the fucking man. But yeah, I feel like there were two genres of music that I always thought were kind of untouchable. Now with this happening, I think there's only one left, and I want you to guess for me which one.
I didn't have enough time to mull over it. Genre?
It seemed like you...
No, I wanted to guess it, but I felt like I wasn't going to be able to. It has to be something with lyrics, so it can't be your beloved house music.
No, well, everyone involved in that is just tripping their balls off on Molly 24/7.
Maybe rap?
Bingo.
That's right. That's why I paid $50,000 a year at Quinnipiac.
Yeah, to learn that, to become a racist.
Just to be so smart.
To become a racist.
Okay,
to become a privileged white woman who says the only genre of music where you can still get away with mistreating women is rap.
It is a very white school, but not a racist.
And that's what you learned
Just
there.
Smart.
But I mean, it's not inaccurate, I feel like, as a statement that if it goes on in rap music, you just have carte blanche in a rap song to say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, for sure.
Do whatever. In your private life as a rapper, I feel like people do assume that those things you rap about, yeah, they're probably going on.
I was listening to some pretty aggressive lyrics by Afro Man this morning during my workout.
Is that your typical... Is that what white women of your age are working out to?
I listened to a playlist called 2000 Club Bangers, and it's so great. I challenge anyone to put that playlist on and not have a great workout. Yeah.
What was so shocking to you about Mr... I was going to call him Mr. Man, because Afro and Man.
The entire song. I don't...
Which, was it because I got high?
No, of course. Oh, that's a song. I thought you meant the lyric. I was like, no, that didn't offend me.
Yeah, no, of course.
No, but yeah, that's a song.
Oh, yeah. He does spend a considerable amount of time in that song discussing cunnilingus and engaging in what seemed to be consensual activity, but very casual. Yeah. And he doesn't seem to be too committed to the relationship and sticking around and being a caring, nurturing partner.
Definitely not, but open to all different cultures. Very open-minded.
That's true. He sort of runs the gamut. I believe he fucks a woman from Hawaii and he sticks it in her ass and she said, "Ai."
Yeah, that did happen. There's a woman.
I believe is it possible her pussy, her titties were breakfast, her pussies was lunch. Was that it?
And then something about Hawaiian punch.
I think. Oh, yes, you're right. I think her titties bursted open like Hawaiian punch.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the line.
It is. Afro Man has had sex with a lot of women, so it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to recall what happened during each individual.
You did recall the information very quickly. I mean, I listened to it this morning, but you had it top of mind. No prep. I didn't tell him about this.
As a fan of rap music, Hawaiian punch, and tropical vacations,
it was a very clever line. I did when I heard it. I was like, well, that was pretty clever.
But even Ron Jeremy has gotten. I mean, Ron Jeremy is probably going to go to jail for a very long time for various acts of like sexual misconduct and assault. Like he's accused of like groping women's pussies and tits at autograph signings and have like penetrating them in social environments non-consensually. And I feel like there definitely was a point at which Ron Jeremy, like 20 years ago, could have gotten away with all of this shit, and people would have been like, it's just Ron being Ron.
So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, and I want to caveat it with I don't know if he's done anything horrible.
You're a fan of his work, though.
No, not what I was going to say either. But what I was going to say is, at what point, and this is not victim blaming to any capacity, but at what point do you know this person's background and behavior?
Yeah.
Should you just not put yourself in the situation to maybe be around him or...
Yeah, well,
victim blaming? Where are we treading there?
No, yeah, I think it actually is kind of because the guy who's jamming his fingers in an unconsensual vagina is always the one who is at fault.
But is he doing that at the parties or at
so apparently it was shit like that, like they'd
I didn't know.
Yeah, like they'd be getting like their picture taken, and he'd like kind of like do an up and under, and like one of them was they said it happened on like a porn set where there was a woman, because there are a lot of people on porn sets. Like, there's shitloads of people on porn sets. You can come across easily a person naked on a porn set who you are not supposed to be having sex with. Okay. You're only there to have sex with the person that you are contractually there to have sex with on a porn set. So apparently one of them, he literally just came up from behind a woman and began having sex with her when she was like, what the fuck?
Were there other people around that stopped this, or? So
it was a while ago that I read the article, and not until I was prepping some notes right before this thing did I think to throw Ron into the mix. I didn't have time to look in detail, but I think the way the woman described it, I think he tried to kind of like play it off like, oh, it's a scene. Yeah, shoot this. It'll look natural.
I see.
Kind of trying to cover his own tracks.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a very interesting indicator of this new phase for society, because we had the Me Too thing, and that was kind of like they were going after like white guys in suits, which everyone has hated white guys in suits forever. It wasn't until social media came along that everyone kind of banded together and was like, all right, we're going to fucking take these fuckers down. But now you're going after the people who I feel like we always looked and just said, yeah, that person is their part of the ecosystem is to engage in acts of sexual deviance.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to me. So it was just
fascinating that they're now getting attacked.
Yeah, it was just sort of an interesting progression for society. It was like, it's kind of like watching something unfold in front of your eyes.
Does it mean they're running out of people in the mainstream to attack, or does it mean that is actually reprehensible and we probably should have started there instead of...
Well, I think, obviously everything goes, so we have to be specificity. Just because one, say, porn guy or rocker did something non-consensual or creepy doesn't mean that all of them were acting without consent, right? Yeah. Like we said, if you're getting picked out of the crowd at a Motley Crue show because you flashed your tits at the band and you went with the manager, in that case, it sounds like you're down for some backstage fun, and then it's up to you how far you'll go. But obviously, if you're grooming an underage girl, if you're sneaking up behind someone, I think it's a matter of people now saying like, okay, no one minds you being a freak, just be a consensual freak. Yeah. I feel like that's where we've gotten to.
Okay.
Context matters. Yeah, it's a good place for society. Permit freakiness, ensure consent. I think that's a very happy landing place. We just kind of have to. I guess we have to refine the way we get there so that innocent people don't get harmed in the process.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that.
There does.
But I don't know about this guy, probably.
No, I don't know the specifics of it because it sounds like they there's no investigation or anything in the article. It's just, hey, this guy, he's out of the fucking band. Which, I mean...
Maybe they just didn't like him. And
that's true.
This was like an excuse to get him out of the band.
The catalyst, speaking of kicking people out of the band, this this law firm down in Texas. They've got a job opening.
Do tell. I don't have a degree. But...
Texas woman feeding hot Cheetos to spider monkey inside El Paso Zoo enclosure fired from job at law firm. Did you see this story? It was kicking around, going viral a few days ago.
I'm moderately familiar with this story.
Allow me to. I will refresh your memory, and because there are some fantastic just sort of lines in here where I was reading as I was reading the statement from this law firm. So I'll check this.
Let me listen.
She risked spreading COVID-19 to the monkeys. Libby and Sunday, a zookeeper said. I guess the monkeys are named Libby and Sunday. Okay. That's weird because monkeys come from like Africa and South America. And
those sound like very white people.
Those are not traditional, Southeast Asian or
Libby,
African or South American names.
Libby, what's that short from? Probably like Olivia?
Libby. What?
Sunday is just like a white person picking a day of the week.
It is their favorite day. They love a Sunday.
No one loves Sundays, but Sunday fun day.
There are parts of Sunday I enjoy. When I was working,
because you're now doing a job that you
that's
truly
true.
enjoy.
It's fun.
Yeah, it takes the edge off of Sunday.
When I was working nights, I liked Sunday because my Monday didn't start until 4 p.m.
Okay, but see, you are a very particular case.
Yeah,
most people. They get the Sunday scaries.
That's true. Yeah. Oh my God. Is there anything more embarrassing than hearing a fucking adult talk about the Sunday scaries? Drink a fucking chamomile and smoke a J while you watch Family Guy.
No.
The scaries go right away.
No. They get bombed by 11 a.m.
Oh, are you saying that the fact that they're filling their bodies with fucking carbohydrates and fat and booze all day might be causing a little bit of anxiety around bedtime?
Perhaps waking up at 3 a.m., the alcohol sleeps aren't the best for you. And then they wake up Monday morning, they have a shitty Monday, and now they have that PTSD on their Sunday.
Oh, suck my dick, shitheads. These shitheads can suck my dick. We're down here, we're having drinks now, but you know what have we been drinking all day? We've had fucking coconut water. Good for you. Kalo. A hemp infused seltzer. They're not even sponsoring this podcast. This shit's ridiculous. This will calm you the fuck down. It's got 15 calories. So if you're one of these fat fucks who caused us to be quarantined for a year because you don't have a fucking immune system, drink some fucking Kalo. Sugar free. It's great. It's better than you're sitting around drinking White Claw all day on a fucking Sunday. Of course you got the fucking scaries.
And you can't tell right now, but it really calmed Mike down.
It does. I mean, actually, I'm in a fantastic mood. I may be a little high energy because I just had some caffeine and theanine, which gets you fucking jacked.
But then calms it.
Yeah, I got a little booze here to level me off. Taking some of my own advice, as you can see.
Anyway, Sunday scaries.
In any case. If any of you ever see some guy complaining about the fucking Sunday scaries, hit him in the dick. She risked spreading COVID-19 to the monkeys, Libby and Sunday, a zookeeper said, not to mention personal injury. The Texas woman seen in a video feeding hot Cheetos to spider monkeys while inside the monkey exhibit at the El Paso Zoo has been fired from her job. Let me tell you something. You remember the incident when Joey and my friends and I were involved in the removal of a rugby trophy from a bar a few years back?
Yes, I do recall.
I was working in the news industry at the time. And one of the things that happens in the news industry is when you see like surveillance footage, we'll be looking at some surveillance footage later actually, is if there's a crime in a business, the police will take the surveillance footage and distribute it to news outlets so they can bring the perpetrators to justice. I went into work the week...
Snitches?
Oh, big time. Yeah. I went into work the weeks after the removal of that trophy, just waiting. The first thing that I would do every day when I got to work was to go into this with this program called iNews that has the entire rundown for the day's shows, and I would just pour through it looking for rugby trophy stolen from Hoboken Bar.
Now that is a valid Sunday scary.
It would have been a valid Sunday scary if the Sunday night on which this incident occurred, I hadn't been tripping my balls off on the bag of Molly that we were eating during the commission of the crime.
Okay, so if you have Sunday scaries, just eat a bag of Molly.
So I was Sunday euphoric when we took that motherfucker.
Monday scary.
And then I actually didn't. I had off the next day because I was actually on call for work the Sunday when all of this went down. I didn't take this job very seriously at all. As you can imagine.
No kidding.
Yeah. Oh, I was on call, but I figured I would take a few hours to drink beers, do ecstasy, and steal a trophy.
Really taking the on-call seriously. Thanks for clarifying. I didn't realize.
So I just jetted down to Belmar and ate an edible and spent the day crashing in the air conditioning. But after I got back up for my shift on Tuesday, I was like a good 3-4 weeks or so. I was going through everything, and then
did you have the authority if you found it to remove it, or
I didn't have
you just trying to prepare your reaction?
I was essentially trying to prepare my reaction.
Okay.
Which would have been outright denial.
Yeah.
I guess he does kind of look like me. Weird. I guess. I wore a similar T-shirt to work a few weeks ago.
Everybody in Hoboken kind of looks alike.
Yeah. Every 30-something male has that T-shirt, and we're all the same size. So yeah, that could be anybody. But yeah, here's the statement from the law firm. Again, this is about the chick who fed. Oh, by the way, she was kind enough to give these monkeys a snack, and she gets fired, which I think is kind of ridiculous. But the law firm said she had previously been employed called her illegal entry into the enclosure irresponsible and reckless, and sent their thoughts out to the spider monkeys, Libby and Sunday, for the traumatic experience.
I'm sure the spider monkeys appreciated their thoughts.
That was great. Do you think the fucking spider monkeys, by the way, if you're a spider monkey, your existence in the wild is like, it's just precarious. You're waiting for death by lion. I don't know if have you read Shadows of Forgotten Ancestors?
I did, because you bought it for me.
Yeah, it was a great book, right?
It's a great book, yeah. Fantastic.
They have that chapter about how tribes of primates, like apes and monkeys and all, will just go out on patrol and they'll find each other and beat the shit out of each other and kill each other.
Yeah.
These are vicious fucking animals. So, and not that I understand that it sucks to be a fucking monkey locked up in the zoo, but honestly, if you're a monkey and some chick rolls in with a bag of snacks for you, how traumatized are you going to be?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the monkeys. I'm worried about this idiot. And I'm not really worried about her because she's an idiot. So
she's having a good time,
I'm not really
too.
concerned about anybody in this.
Yeah, by the way, if you're a person and you have a fucking wish to get the shit kicked out of you by a monkey, because by the way, a monkey is going to beat the fuck out of... one monkey will beat the fuck out of you.
They'll
Two
kill her.
monkeys?
Yeah.
They would have fucking killed her. They would have been eating her fucking brains. The firm has always been a strong supporter of animals and animal advocacy. Lovett Law Firm, which specializes in personal injury, said in a statement on... First, again, Lovett Law Firm, personal injury lawyers, these guys should be encouraging everybody to jump into monkey enclosures with arms full of snacks. If I was them, I would have promoted her to, like, chief of strategy.
That's perfect. That's a perfect position.
You could sue every fucking zoo in the country for this.
They took the wrong... They have a terrible PR department.
Yeah, just absolutely.
Yeah, they took the wrong angle.
Absolutely.
They could have argued that the fence was too low.
Fence was too low. Monkeys look too hungry. Why was there a vending machine selling flaming hot Cheetos right next to the monkey enclosure?
Did you go to law school?
I should have.
You should have.
Was there a sign on the fence that said, "Do not enter to feed monkeys flaming hot Cheetos"? If there wasn't, how is anyone going to know that you're not supposed to do that?
Where's the... What do they call it?
The gavel. Yeah.
Gavel?
The gavel.
Rest your case.
Judge Judy, step the fuck aside. Judge Jackie is here. Court is in session. We support the El Paso Zoo, and we read that. Yeah, that's, I guess, the end of the statement. And then there was one last thing before we moved on from this story that I wanted to address, because we're worried about. They mentioned giving COVID to the monkeys. Ever heard of AIDS?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that yet.
Fucking for years, all I've been hearing is that AIDS became a human problem when it somehow jumped from monkeys to people. All right? A monkey gave a person AIDS. Whether that monkey was eaten or whether the monkey lied to a person about not having an STD and they had unprotected sex despite the fact that the monkey had been with several partners and hadn't been tested anytime soon.
What's happening?
And it's a distinct possibility. Some horny monkey lies to that flight attendant to spread AIDS around the world. The flight attendant fucks this sexy monkey. All of a sudden, he's got an AIDS-covered dick, but he doesn't know it. And he's jet set around. He's going to fucking, Spain and then Cuba and Greece and South Africa and New York and San Fran. And he's having all this gay sex. And people are like...
Who is he, Afro Man?
He's essentially, I believe, what was he like? He was like, I think he was maybe Dutch or some. He was Caucasian, and I don't like you implying that that AIDS is a black disease. That's incredibly insulting.
I didn't imply that.
That's what it
Implied
feels
that
like.
he was
You said,
multicultural.
is he an Afro man?
I said, is he Afro Man?
That's not what it sounded like to me.
Multicultural in his sexual pursuits.
But the point is, if this woman did put the monkeys at risk for COVID and then they died of COVID, I feel like she would have to be a hero in the gay community.
Okay, interesting take. They didn't think you were gonna go there.
Would she not be?
Yeah, I would
Like
think so.
going a little taste of your own medicine.
That's what I say. We got
fucking
we got
monkeys.
you back.
Yeah, a little payback. Hitler killed himself, so that's a bad example. Rob O'Neill, the guy who killed Bin Laden. This lady, if these monkeys wound up getting COVID from this lady and dying, this lady would essentially be the Rob O'Neill of the gay community.
Except I suspect that this was just like some lady who was on meth and jumped into a zoo cage.
Well, I mean, she was a gainfully employed attorney, I guess.
Was she an attorney, though? Did they
you think she's like a
specify?
paralegal or a
That's what I was thinking,
secretary
like
or a janitor or something
that they
like
were
that?
probably trying to get rid of before that, but they were like, we didn't really have a reason.
They need cause.
Yeah, and
They
then
will
as soon
always
as
find
this
a
happened, they
reason.
were just like, yes, you're out.
Oh, yeah, did you hear what that fucking idiot did over the weekend? But, if not, if this woman whacked 2 monkeys with COVID, she's, I feel like, an automatic gay icon.
Yeah, I would imagine.
You should have, it's June is coming up, it's Pride Month.
Yeah, I mean, neither of us really know, but yeah, they could.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
The particulars of this aren't laid out in there.
No.
It could be that they're trying to hide it.
Lawyers are quite deceitful.
They are. They know what lawyers know. Lawyers know which pieces of information to release and which pieces to sit on. And it's entirely possible that this woman killed these monkeys with COVID, and it was payback for the fact that monkeys spread AIDS to humans and wreaked havoc to the gay community in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And she could be on a pride float going down Christopher Street in the West Village in New York. I feel it'd be a great float. You could have her up there with just bags and bags of flamin' hot Cheetos, and then you have all of these monkeys. And what they should do as real payback for all the AIDS deaths is put the monkeys in like AIDSy hospital beds and spray paint their chests so it looks like they have sores from Kaposi's sarcoma. That's that's like the AIDS flu that you get when it first breaks out. Okay. You get welts all over your chest. You look very AIDSy. And while that's going on, she just force feeds flamin' hot Cheetos to these monkeys while the gay guys in their leather and their thongs lining the parade cheer, and they throw shit at the monkeys.
This is all on the float?
Yeah, this is the float. Well, the woman feeding the Cheetos to the AIDS monkeys would be on the float. The gay men would be lining the sides, the parade viewers, and they would just have like maybe rotten vegetables or whatever to pelt the monkeys with.
Okay, all right. This is quite the choreography.
It is. But if anyone can pull it off, I would argue that it's the New York City homosexual community. Have you ever seen a Broadway play?
Oh, yes.
I haven't, but I hear they're spectacular.
What?
Anyway, this broad's basically the next Liza Minnelli. That is the point I was trying to make there.
How long did it take?
An extended period of time. We've made it. We're about 40 minutes into the show. We've deviated from the main point on a number of occasions, but that's just what happens on the live stream. A number of the jokes that we made in there probably didn't age very well.
Age well in 3 minutes.
The behavior of 80s rockers and hairy, big-dicked porn stars also didn't age very well. So let's talk about things that didn't age well, specifically jokes, because anyone knows that jokes don't age well. It's Seth Rogen. Did you see what that jagoff said this week? He has become very frustrating.
He always disappoints me because I love
his movies are amazing.
So
fucking
much.
Superbad rules.
Superbad, Sausage Party.
Knocked Up.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Some of the best movies, and then I'm on Twitter, and it just hurts my head.
Such a fucking
I'm like, just please stop,
dick.
because I love your movies.
Yeah. Well, and if you haven't heard what he said, I will let me give you the nitty gritty. Earlier this week, Seth Rogen appeared on Good Morning Britain. Like anyone gives a fuck what goes on in England anyway. Yeah. And gave his 2 cents. I feel like it should be £2. I don't know.
Oh, you're right.
On what he thinks about comedians complaining about cancel culture and facing criticism for past jokes. While on the British Morning Show to promote his debut collection of essays titled Yearbook, the interviewer, Susanna Reid, asked Rogen what he thought of the controversial jokes he made in his past films. Rogen responded, "There are certain jokes that for sure have not aged well, but I think that's the nature of comedy. I think conceptually those movies are sound, and I think there's a reason they've lasted as far as people still watching and enjoying them today. Jokes are not things that necessarily are built to last." He continued, "To me, when I see comedians complaining about this kind of thing, I don't understand what they're complaining about. If you've made a joke that's aged terribly, accept it. If you don't think that's aged terribly, then say that." Rogen went on to say that as a comedian, receiving criticism is part of the trade and is one of the things that goes along with being an artist. And if you don't like that, then don't be a comedian anymore. To me, it's not worth complaining about to the degree that I see other comedians complaining about. First of all, is he even a fucking comic? I mean, he's a comedic actor. But he's just been an actor his entire life.
Yeah. What are they calling him? They're calling him a
He's
comedian?
referring to himself,
referring to himself
as a comedian.
Maybe he did some stand-up
I
back
wouldn't
in the day.
doubt that he's done some stand-up, but some stand-up doesn't qualify you to say as a comedian.
Yeah,
But that would be like me. Like, I've ridden a bike a few times, being like, as a competitor in the Tour de France.
that is such a poor comparison.
That's a brilliant comparison.
It's not even close.
But first of all, I want to know why the fuck that's not even close.
I feel like you got to go a certain speed to be able to compare yourself to.
Seth Rogen has to do a certain degree of stand-up comedy to be able to compare himself to a comic.
He may have in the beginning.
You've been watching stand-up forever.
That's true.
How much Seth Rogen stand-up have you watched?
Well, a lot of it doesn't get on TV. You know, they do like the open mics. I just really don't want to compare you to a cyclist. I don't think that's
Have you seen these calves? Tell me I don't look like fucking Lance Armstrong.
Very strong calves.
I do. You know who has strong calves?
Lance Armstrong.
Bicyclists. Yeah.
No, but they're much more slender. You're a little bulky for a bike.
Well, yeah, but I'm not an actual bicyclist. I'm just saying.
I just think your comparison wasn't equal.
Well, I think women aren't equal, so shut the fuck up. But what's infuriating about this is that he has the advantage when he does when you do a movie. You write a joke is written and it's refined and it's acted and it's shot multiple times,
yes.
And there's input from a fuckload of people, And, you know, it's all very deliberate. It's done with a lot of intention. Mm-hmm. When you're doing stand-up, unless you're doing, like, a fucking hour special where you've honed an act over a couple years and you know the ins and outs, you know exactly what you're going to say, and you're going up there saying, this is going to be it. A lot of times, guys are just going up with, hey, this is the thought that popped into my head today. Let me go and explore it on stage and see what comes out of my mouth. Yeah. So to hold someone to the same standard that you would hold someone who is doing scripted work, when they're just going out and freewheeling off notes and they're playing off the energy of the crowd, and maybe there's a guy of a certain, you know, sexual orientation or ethnicity in the crowd looking at his phone, so the comedian goes off on him or something like that. Comedy is the art of the unexpected, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't plan for it. Some of it's situational. Also, some of it's just of the age, which is also happens in movies or in scripted comedy as well. But yeah, for sure. I mean, stand-up is a little bit more off the cuff, and you're kind of testing things out. But yeah, he should know that as a person in the field, even if we're not going to categorize him as a comedian, so to speak. He should understand, because even if you're just a fan of comedy, you get that piece. And
that's another element of what is so fucking annoying about this, is that what it just reeks of is him saying the right thing.
Yeah, he's being
as a Hollywood guy.
Yeah, he's trying to be very diplomatic, very political.
He's saying the thing that will ensure that his projects continue to get made by studios.
Which is stupid, because he has such a good product. So he should be one of those guys who's just like, my work speaks for itself, so I can speak openly about things. I don't have to be one of these people who's a little iffy or new to the industry and needs to kind of
He's got the money.
Yeah.
He
doesn't need to tread lightly, and he is.
If Seth Rogen wanted to shoot and produce his own shit and release it on YouTube, he could do so and make fuckloads of money, regardless of his opinions on cancel culture. So it sucks that he would say this when he gets to go out and make. I mean, there's shit in Superbad that you could never make today.
Sausage Party. I mean, the entire thing was so incredibly insulting to anybody who's Catholic, and it was a hilarious movie. And like, he could be theoretically canceled for something like that.
No. Catholics are not a protected class.
I think they probably made fun of Jews too.
Well,
but it wasn't the theme.
Between you and me, those motherfuckers got it coming. I hope no one heard that.
But it wasn't.
The mic was off. The mic was off. I checked. Yeah.
But it wasn't the theme of the movie. Like he said some offensive.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, and even more so because Hollywood is literally a town run by sexual predators.
Name one.
Harvey Weinstein.
Who?
Yeah. No, but like, it's all of them. Like, they're literally, it is just a town full of sexual predators.
They're all hypocrites.
And they're like, yeah, but, you know, some guy in a hoodie might have gotten on stage at the Chuckle Bucket and said some things that ruffled a feather or two. Yeah. That's like, you were making 19-year-old girls play with their fucking pussies on a casting couch, and the town is blackballing comics. Like, it's just the most fucking ridiculous thing in the world. And then, the things that they make movies about. Rape. Yeah. All the time in movies. Yeah. People get raped in movies.
Yes, that does happen.
They depict rape. Like, there's that famous... What's that one where the chick gets raped over the pinball machine?
I have no idea.
It's a very famous 80s movie. 9/11. I mean, there are movies about 9/11. Should the guys who played the guy who played Muhammad Atta, should he be canceled because we have him on screen slitting a flight attendant's throat and crashing a plane into the fucking World Trade Center?
I mean, there's probably some moron, if they saw him, who would react that way.
Do you think so? Some guy would watch it and be like,
yes.
We can't have this.
I think people are idiots. I think the majority of this country is retarded.
What else do we have? The Holocaust.
Yeah, that's on numerous films.
Horrible event.
Yeah.
There are shitloads of movies where you can see sickly-looking European Jewish families in raggedy striped pajamas lined up behind barbed wire, being marched off to their doom in the gas chambers. Yeah. Hollywood will give you a fucking... How many fucking awards did Schindler's List win?
Wait, I had a question for you. Oh, but these aren't jokes. I think he's being very specific about jokes, no?
Well, but why then? Why the fuck do jokes, which aren't... They're not serious depictions of anything, fall under... Get held to this ridiculous standard. Yeah. Jokes should be the exception.
Yeah.
These things shouldn't be the first of all, they should just be nothing. It should be make whatever the fuck you want, and people will watch it if they wish to consume it. Yeah. As long as it isn't child porn, we should be good. But jokes are literally, they are intentionally fake. The joke is not real. It's jest. It's fabricated. Yeah. It is meant to be outside of the bounds of the normal. That is the joke. So it's disingenuous that Stanley Tucci can star in a movie. I believe, and someone can check me on this. I forget what the movie was. It was about this guy who kidnapped a girl and took her and like tortured her and killed her in an underground bunker in the middle of like a fucking cornfield or something like that.
No idea.
Yeah, beloved Stanley Tucci. Yeah, people cannot get enough of Stanley Tucci. He gets away with it. Lifetime. How many fucking Lifetime movies?
Oh my God, Lifetime has the worst. They're the biggest offenders of these.
Lifetime movies are literally about, every one of them is about a guy who hates his wife, so he bangs his secretary, and then they kill the wife, and then the sister-in-law solves the murder. If
you watch too much Lifetime and then try to walk out your door, it is a horrifying experience, because you just think, like, you ever done this? Like, I remember I would watch, like, these movies when I living in Hoboken, and I would walk down my 3 stories in my first apartment, and I'd be, like, walking up the street to go get, like, something from, like, the grocery store, and I would just, like, look over my shoulder.
You just assumed rape.
Yeah, because I was like, I just watched 3 hours of people getting, like, raped, and now I gotta walk outside, and I think that's all that's going on out here.
I'm always amazed that rapists can hold a fucking erection doing that. Like, that's a fucking... That's a wild thing. I would love to see a brain dissection of a rapist, how the fuck they do that, because that is fucking wild.
I'm sure they've dissected a brain or 2 of them, no?
I guess. I don't actually know much about brain dissection, so it might not help my perspective, but I'd like to hear what the science guys have to say. Well, we are certainly cutting away at our hour. We'll go a little over an hour today, I think. As always, I do want to check in on New York City. My favorite piece of news out of New York City this week was that Bill de Blasio's endorsement. There's a mayoral election going on in New York. Bill de Blasio's endorsement for mayor has been considered now a sort of death touch. Like, if de Blasio endorses you, you are going to lose, which is kind of funny, because if you're Bill de Blasio, I feel like you'd be like, all right, who do I hate? And just be like, who do I hate? Yang, Catherine Garcia, Eric Adams.
He endorses that. Yeah. That's hilarious.
If Bill de Blasio endorses you, they say, a full 40% of likely Democratic primary voters said they were less likely to support his honor's choice in the June 22nd race, compared with 28% who said they'd be more likely to vote for a contender with de Blasio's blessing. That's fucking... Like, he is a 2-term sitting mayor, and his people fucking hate him.
Yeah. I mean, he's terrible.
He's just a doofus.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, like, have you seen, like, the videos the past few weeks? Obviously, we did the French fries and the burger one. He's done the one where he was wearing a Nets hat, and then the other day he shows up in a Knicks hat. It almost feels like he's just like, I gotta, like, you know when Michael Scott gives his 2 weeks notice and he's just drinking scotch in the office and fucking with people? Yeah. That's what it feels like. De Blasio is just in his lame duck. Michael Scott last week's at Dunder Mifflin before forming the Michael Scott Paper Company. Those days. And he clearly hasn't done shit about crime, because we have Felony assaults surged on the subways last week. Police recorded 24 felony assaults during the week of May 17th to May 23rd, compared to 13 the previous week, which is, both of those are shitty numbers. This has included a man bloodied by a hammer early Sunday morning, and 2 men shot Saturday during a stick-up gone wrong. Who's carrying a fucking hammer on the subway?
Crazy people in New York. That actually wouldn't even surprise me in New York previously. It's just that I think there's not this mass population of people commuting in and out. So now you can get away with, like, whipping out your hammer.
Yeah, there definitely was a time when there was a little bit of strength in numbers.
Yeah.
But even then, and I mean, a lot of that was still during de Blasio. He's been in office for 8 fucking years. Yeah, people were getting slashed in the face with box cutters.
That was still happening.
That was happening. There was like a slashing rash like every 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm watching CBS 2 News, and some lady, they're like, "Oh, do you think we need more cops on the subway?" And some lady says, "No, I don't feel safe with cops around." I'm like,
but you feel safe with the guy with the hammer?
With the hammer-wielding maniac. It appears, ladies and gentlemen, that someone has just walked down the stairs. I don't know who it could be.
Looks like he's stretching
He's limbering up. He's off stage. He's bending over.
Perhaps getting ready to battle Mike.
Is he going to make an entrance?
Cycling race.
Yeah, Joe. We're getting ready for the Tour de France. He's stretching out. He's limbering up. I hope he's got something to drink.
A little high knees.
Yeah, get loose, baby. Woo! Yeah, bring it in. Let's see it. Who is it? Who is it? Come on in. All right, you're eating up way too much time, motherfucker. Bring it in. Bring it in. Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen.
Letdown of the year.
Yes, welcome to the Savage.
Just me.
Step on in. You got to get you. I got to make sure you are on screen here. Is he in? Yeah, we're all here. The gang is all here. We've just been talking about New York City, de Blasio's shithole. I don't know if you heard, the M&M store in Times Square was robbed at knife point.
Ooh.
Not good.
Haven't heard about that.
How many M&Ms did they get?
What did they take?
I would have robbed the Skittles store instead.
I don't know if they have
I
one.
don't think this one.
They
I
should
feel like
get one.
M&M's
They should replace
shit
the
out of
No, Skittles.
What did they take? He took 3 pairs of socks.
They sell socks at the M&M store?
I have a feeling they sell a lot of M&M merch. He pulled a knife on the security guard. That's kind of bothersome that your security could be disarmed with just a quick knife.
Yeah. Well, did he get away?
I think he was apprehended like later on.
Oh, okay. But he got the socks? He still has them?
Well, I believe he was. He may have been. I think he was apprehended. I don't have that part of the article. I was just fascinated by the fact that the M&M store was robbed of socks at knife point. That did a lot for me.
So what do you say we do a little arm wrestling?
I don't want to hurt you.
I don't want to hurt you either.
We had a Upper West Side. We had a nice broad daylight shooting. That's fun. And then I'll move on to a more fun topic. But I wanted to pull this video up because it's just every once in a while we get one of these videos that perfectly encapsulates what is going on in de Blasio's New York. So I'm going to pull this bad boy up. Up on the screen. Oh yeah, there she blows.
She's blowing.
She's blowing all right.
What do we got here?
Watch this. Enjoy the. We'll go through it a couple times if we have to.
What was that?
Did you catch that?
No.
I don't know what it was.
I thought I was looking at a street sign, but that's just the blur.
Yeah,
I
I saw someone fall and someone run away.
Yeah, here's a zoomed in, I guess, version.
What is that?
Whose tummy is rumbling?
That was my tummy. I just had some chicken.
Is anything going to be coming out the other end that we need to worry about?
I eat all day, and I just had a few pieces of chicken. And
No,
some
you are a foul motherfucker. The last time you farted on this fucking podcast, I couldn't breathe for an hour.
I'm so worried about being close to that sound.
Settle in. You're in a good spot.
Your rectum has done so much damage in social situations. It's not even funny. Like, you could be charged with a number of crimes for, like, non-consentingly presenting people with your asshole the way you fart.
If we arm wrestled, I might get charged with a crime, too. But you're afraid.
Yeah, let's watch it again.
Alright.
Here he comes, innocent man on a bicycle. Boom!
Oh, right in the back.
What did he hit him
You know what that was?
No.
It was a parking divider.
Ooh.
That's what's going
They
on.
call that a delineator?
Is that what it's called?
I feel like every time you hear about a delineator being down in the Lincoln Tunnel, you think that there's like some major, like they need to send in an engineer and fix the delineator, but it just means a cone fell over.
Is this a thing?
Yeah, you never commuted through the Lincoln Tunnel during rush hour.
That's
there
right.
were
Yeah.
always delays because of a delineator.
I go in
It's
so
happening.
fucking early. Yeah. Well, this guy just got fucking decapitated with a fucking delineator.
Yeah.
Boom!
What the fuck? Wait, what was the reason for this?
I don't know, because my first assumption was that because he's got one of those, like, you know, food delivery guy bikes.
Yeah.
That it was, you know, they were trying to jack him for the meal, which is like, that's common in the projects. Someone will order like Chinese food, and they'll rob the guy when he shows. Well, that's the delivery guy is Chinese, the victim.
That's racist.
But it doesn't look like he took him.
It's actually the exact opposite of racist. No, that's what's weird about this. It almost feels like he just cracked this guy for the sake of cracking him.
Yeah,
like
he scurries away immediately
Here he comes. Sneak attack!
He's gone.
And then he's gone.
I wish he got hit
know.
by that
Oh,
other
no.
guy.
It's such a
badly.
cliffhanger.
How badly do you wish this motherfucker got hit by
That
a
would
car
have
when
been
he went out
amazing.
to
Or
the
even
street?
by this guy like you could get hurt by someone
If
bicycling.
he
in
got
the
hit,
city.
if he got hit
They
by the
had
guy on the
motors on
bike,
them.
and then the guy on the bike got hit by someone on a car,
Why do you wish that on the other
What did
guy?
he
because
Hey.
it would be just a funny series. It would be a comical series.
It'd
of
be like,
events.
what was that? It was Benny Hill, the British comedian who was always had that cheesy music where it's like,
Let's say you could play like some funny music over it.
yeah, before we go out, let's see if we can make this more fun with the Benny Hill music. And there they go. Oh! All right, so maybe we were wrong about life in de Blasio's New York. Maybe what's missing isn't an increased police presence underground or on the streets where people are getting viciously assaulted. Maybe if they just pumped like kind of hacky, fun circus music through all of the speakers in the city, then if somebody like hits you in the face with a hammer, it's not a violent crime anymore.
Yeah, someone
It would be
slapstick.
Someone stabs you for a couple of M&M signs.
Yeah, it's like the Three Stooges. It's like, that's what we need.
Yeah, you have, instead of like Big Brother where they're watching you to like survey you or surveil
Surveil.
you. They're just watching so that they can find opportune moments to play funny music.
Then I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Well, speaking of fun moments,
Be knocking down delineators all day.
Smashing people over the head with them.
Speaking of fun moments caught on video, we'll wrap up with. But this is the video of the fucking week. Allow me to share this one. I don't know if you guys have you seen what happened at Little Caesars?
No. Please show.
I presume there was a brawl.
No. At
There
a
was.
Little
Would you go to Little
Caesars.
Caesars?
For the pizza.
Pizza. That's what Little Caesars looks like?
Make sure this is
pizza from a place
taken
like that.
on the thing. Oh yeah.
Oh, this looks violent.
This is just fucking. So let me give you a little a quick background on this before we really roll into it. This was apparently, and it had to be during the day because the woman has a little child with her. I assumed she took the kid to lunch at Little Caesars. Like, if this was a 3 a.m. incident and someone got their ass kicked inside of a fast food pizza place, I'd be like, all right, that kind of thing happens. This appears to be, there's like this ongoing issue between the white woman down here who's getting the shit kicked out of her and the proud woman of color up here who's doing the shit kicking.
That's racist.
And it's apparently over a then the video is racist, not me.
Mike is racist.
There was apparently a dispute over the child because I guess the white chick is the girlfriend of the child's father and sometimes watches over the kid, and I'm not exactly sure what the relationship with the black woman is.
Proud woman of color.
That's right. You're right. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Proud. You're right. She is indeed. She should be proud of the way she fought because she kicked the fuck out of this chick. Let's go.
So did you make up that backstory, or is that real?
No, it was that was in the post.
Oh wow.
I feel like Mike's friends with them. Like
no, let's go to the videotape.
Whoa, the kid!
The kid's getting in there.
Why is the kid in there?
Starting him young.
Yeah.
She's beating up the other girl, the other lady.
Yo, that is a fucking loyal kid.
Ooh. Oh my god. I mean, even if those aren't like hard punches, that's just repeated knuckles to the face.
Yeah,
and when chicks do the thing where they grab the
Grab
other
the
broad's
hair.
hair.
Didn't you do that some chick in a bathroom in college?
Yeah, but it got broken up pretty quickly.
What did you do?
No, it wasn't my fault. It started out my fault, but it didn't end my fault. I pushed her because it was a crowded bar and she was trying to squeeze by.
Oh, you gave her the...
So I gave one of those like little... You know,
I didn't really do that, but I did it. Yeah.
You know, one of those little shoves. And then she pulled my hair, and pretty aggressively too. And I turned around, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And she goes, "She was a white girl, but then she threw your mama."
Why are you bringing race into this?
That's racist too.
Against white people?
Well, no, you specified as though people would have assumed that that a white person wouldn't do this, according to racist
clearly.
Well,
white women do fight.
Because she said, "I bet your mama didn't teach you to push people." That's not a white. Never mind. Anyway,
you're going down an interesting road here, Jackie.
Anyway,
what is in?
I might have to kick you off of my air.
Yeah, least favorite races. Go.
No, it's too hard. She's gonna be sitting here for hours trying to figure out which one she hates the most. She hates all of them.
So allow me to continue? Allow me?
She's getting, in September, she's preparing to appear in front of everyone she knows in all white, including a face covering.
No.
Well, that is wildly out of context.
Are you not preparing to do that?
I don't know what to say.
The fucking grand wizard of the New Jersey clan over here. Alright, finish your story.
Anyway, where was I? She told me that my mama didn't teach me to shove somebody, and I said, "I don't think your mama taught you to pull anyone's hair." And then it all dissipated, and then my friend Kate said I spotted her in the bathroom, and we had a few beverages in us, and I said, "We should go."
So you rolled on that bitch?
We rolled on her. and then we got in the bathroom, and then we started to scuffle, and then as soon as we started throwing terrible punches and...
Did you land any?
Yeah, but probably, a knuckle. Like, nobody know... You don't know how to fight. And there was a much...
chicks.
Because your mama didn't teach you how to
Your mama didn't teach you how to fight. I pity the fool.
And then there was a much more aggressive fight happening to the left of us.
There was a better one?
There was a better one. There were these two girls rolling on the floor, like that. Like
did they kiss?
No. They did this. They pulled each other's hair. They punched each other. And I was like, we can't compete with that. And then the bouncer just broke it up.
Cat fight.
Yeah, get a cat fight. Cat fight with Raquel Welch.
And that was the end of that.
All right, well, let's...
That was the only fight I ever got.
Let's take in a little bit more of this bout. Ooh.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
These girls are way better at fighting than I am.
And by the way...
No,
Do
the
you
girl,
realize...
That one girl's not very good at fighting.
She's not.
She's
her
terrible.
Her mama
She
didn't teach her how to
sucks.
Neither did mine.
It honestly looks like that one girl's mom just really taught her.
Do you realize what kind of strength you have to be able to drag a human like that by the hair?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of quad and glute strength going on there, as well as tremendous grip.
I just can't imagine that feeling on your hair.
Not to mention...
Is it just fat girl strength, or...?
Let's go back a little bit.
Might just be fat.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she doesn't look like
I mean,
fat.
she's got, thick... It's an athletic build.
Yeah, she's not like obese.
I mean, she's hanging out at a Little Caesars, so I'm assuming there may be a little more adipose tissue on there. But she does...
Adipose, as you're all familiar with.
She does seem... I'm sorry. I'm taking a bunch of personal training classes online right now. I have proper terminology stuck in my head.
Still afraid to arm wrestle.
Ooh. Oh, she's taking the fucking floor mat with her.
Oh my god, this looks so...
Oh my god.
She's... Oh! Ooh.
Oh my god!
Whoa. She got the fucking head stomp in, too. Yeah, she's definitely...
I'm starting to see the Little Caesars, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, she carved up for this one, big time.
Well, what I don't understand is...
Yeah, she's...
So someone's videotaping this, and people just around are like, we'll just watch.
There's thick girl strength, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yo,
She's got that...
Oh my god.
She's got sort of... she's not like an offensive tackle. She's got like a little bit of that defensive lineman, but can probably play a stand-up position if you need her to.
How do you find yourself in this position in life?
Well, you're hanging around a Little Caesars in Georgia. That's the first... That's probably the... maybe not the first of many, but probably the last of the mistakes.
Ooh.
God, oh, damn. Oh, she does not look well. Yeah, let's give one more viewing. We'll watch it in full.
This fucking kid tried. She better love this
Tried
fucking
to help,
kid.
yeah.
Wait, who's the kid belong to?
I'm not really sure.
We're not positive. We believe there's like a boyfriend or something involved, but not here.
Holy shit. No one fucking stepped in.
This is just like another day at Little Caesars.
Yeah. This is the third one that took place. That's why the floor mat was already so close to the door. Oh! That's a fucking skull stomping.
Wow. That was brutal.
Yo, ma. Yeah, let me, let's get that out of here, and we will,
you don't see that at John's Boys.
No.
You don't. You really don't. That is always what gets me about these is that was broad daylight. Someone took time out of presumably a weekday to engage in combat inside of a Little Caesars. Do you even have time like that in your day?
No.
I'm sure I could.
How much time do you get for
how
lunch?
much time do you need?
Yeah, what do you get? Even
I usually
people
eat at like my desk.
Yeah, I kind of eat at my desk. You want to get something done. Like, who is able to... Because, like, you have to track your rival to the Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Like,
how'd she know she was going there?
Again, it feels to me like this kerfuffle was occupying an outsized amount of their time.
I do feel like the word kerfuffle is a little too soft for what we just witnessed.
Well, it was a little spat.
Yeah, it's still too soft.
A disagreement.
Too soft.
A tiff.
There's definitely a tiff.
Yeah.
And a disagreement.
Yeah. And they escalated.
It honestly was just more of an ass whooping.
It was
that wasn't really
fucking
a fight.
Beat down.
Fight
It was not a
implies reciprocity.
No, I mean that chick got tuned. What a poor showing.
Yeah.
She must have had a terrible training camp going into that fight.
Bad mama.
Absolutely atrocious. Well, while I have you guys here, I always do ask if there's anything that we haven't gone over during the show that before we wrap up, topics, things you've seen online that you would like to go over.
I came here to arm wrestle, that's it.
You really want me to break your arm?
I think we need to see it happen.
Prefer that you didn't break it, but, you know.
Okay, I'll fucking...
Alright, let's clear
I
some
want to show
things
you what
off.
I got.
Move some of these books.
Been masturbating all week. Building up this form.
You are a
of strength.
notorious masturbator. I gotta make sure you're on camera
Move
here.
some of the glassware.
That's a good idea. leverage just so you have a little bit of an advantage?
To remove everything?
No, I'll go without the leverage, so you have a little bit of an
I don't want the advantage.
I would like you to have an advantage.
I thought you might be able to use the advantage.
All right.
Twist. He's already twisting his wrists.
Okay, you ready?
Now Jackie's got to do that thing where she puts her hand up and says go.
What do? I just go.
You say go.
Yeah.
Tell me again.
So you're gonna put your hands up here and then you're gonna say go.
Spell that word for me. G-O?
G-O. Like
Go.
Vincent Van Gogh. It's not over yet. He pulled his arm
Well,
off.
there was nowhere for me to go. I was going to yank you across.
These are the excuses of a man.
I mean, it was a pretty swift. Jack, you were there. It was a pretty swift beating, right?
I'm not even sure what happened. I said go and it was over.
Call that was more of a kerfuffle than an arm wrestling match.
All right. Well, in any case, does anybody have anything they want to throw out there before I put the big tits back on screen and plug the links?
I think we talked about it all.
I start and end the show with big tits to entice people to watch.
Wait, so
and tell their
what
friends.
crowd are you tricking in with the big tits? Cause
Guys who love big tits.
He also has a listener who was confused about the big tits, evidently.
But is there like
he can hear them?
Are people just scrolling through Facebook and just seeing a pair of tits now?
Well, they are covered. I mean, you can come around, Joey, and take a look at the tits.
It's just to see. It's not that I'm a married man. I don't need to see the tits. But I'm just curious.
It's Memorial Day. They're in red, white, and blue top because obviously we can't show nipple on Facebook or YouTube. But look, they're here. The tits are on screen. We had a great time for the last hour and 15 minutes talking about all sorts of things. We watched some, fun video. Well, fun if you weren't involved in the videos. So tell your friends. Tell them this is the place for big tits. Most summer Fridays, you'll see the show from down here. Once in a while, I will be back up in Jersey City doing it when the weekend does not afford me the leisure to visit the Jersey Shore. But there will still be big tits. And those big tits are a reminder for you to tell your friends about the Savage Sacktap, where you can find the show, where you can find the content, facebook.com/The Savage Crew, Twitter @Mike Montone, Instagram @Gary_Moyler, MOYLER. Meatheadmedia.com is my website where much of this content is available as well. And of course, you can find the Savage Sacktap wherever podcasts are available. TheSavageCrew.libsyn.com, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, all over the goddamn internet. Before we wrap up, there are a couple comments sitting out there. I'll see if there's anything essential to address. Roland Perez checking in once again, one of our most dedicated listeners. Thank you.
Love tits.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Roland. Said the movie where the girl was getting raped on the pinball machine was, of course, it was The Accused, and how could we forget? It was Jodie Foster. That must have been what turned her off of men. Anyway, thank you, Roland and company for tuning in, and everyone have a great Memorial Day weekend. Eat burgers, eat pussy, gaze upon big fat titties. Do what you gotta do. 3-day weekend. People literally gave their lives so that you could have the freedom to enjoy this awesome weekend. As I said at the top of the show, do not let their sacrifice be in vain. The thing that makes America so fucking great is that we do these freedom things, that we go out and we get fucking blackout drunk in the sun and we eat things that aren't good for us, and we jump off of balconies into swimming pools, and we do these things. The rest of the world fucking hates us, but we love us because we're America. They hate us because they ain't us. So please honor the sacrifices made by my fallen brethren that allow us to enjoy this awesome weekend. And we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for joining us. Oh yeah, USA.
One day you should throw, instead of tits, a big hulking bull.
Cock.
And find out what type of crowd you
Maybe for
entice.
pride. Imagine if I just got shitloads of views. It turns out I actually have a really cock-loving crowd. Thank you guys. This is a very